Welcome back to the Minor League Monday, brought to you by Red Hot Reds, where we break down everything happening from the AAA Louisville Bats down to the Dominican Summer League. This week was packed full of fireworks. One Reds prospect had the rarest feat by hitting for the cycle. Another one put on a power display that left scoreboards smoking, hitting 2 grand slams over the weekend. And if that wasn't enough, we had a wild walk-off finish that had fans on their feet and teammates pouring out of the dugout. You ready to go, Roger?
Let's go.
With the second pick of the 2024 MLB Draft, the Cincinnati Reds select Chase Burns.
It's hammered down the left field line and way gone. A solo home run for Alfredo Duno.
Collier swats one into left field, testing the line. That is down a base hit. Rogers is coming around third. He will score. To replace him at second is Cam Collier with a stand-up double.
Find it short, up in the air. Arroyo steals a base hit.
A swing and a fly ball down the left field line, hooking toward the corner. It is a fair ball, and it is gone. Home run re-signs.
Make it two! Trudeau jumps on the first pitch and lines it to right. Move crosses the plate, and the Tortugas will not say die tonight.
Lewis takes inside, throw to second is on a hop, and it is not in time. And there is stolen base number 50 for Kyle Headley.
There's a swing and a fly ball into center. Dunn going back on the warning track, leaps at the wall, makes the catch. Dunn hauled it in. Ball game over.
Swing, here's a well-hit ball to right field. Moving back to the wall. Campbell, that ball is gone! This game is tied!
That's airborne into the gap, into right field, diving for it, and making the catch is Hendrick.
Ian Fu with a skyscraping blast out to right. Daytona is on the board.
There's a swing and a fly ball to left. Rodriguez turns around. It's gone just over the wall into the seats. Home run, Sal Stewart. Kind of a high liner. It got out of here in a hurry.
Fly ball center field. Jorge there. And it is caught. Campanon cut and run and caught the ball. Put this game in the win column. Put this winning streak at 14. It's a new club record.
Righty sends. Hendrick signs. Drives it out into right field. That's going to be the ball game. Look out, Twin. Look out, Twin. Hendrick comes through. What a play. What a bat for Hendrick, the fans, and the Chattanooga Lookouts.
Welcome to Minor League Monday, a Cincinnati Reds minor league podcast, hosted by myself, Roger Strauss, and Reds on SI writer Ricky Logan. We are the only podcast out there that covers the Cincinnati Reds minor leagues exclusively, from Louisville all the way down to the Dominican Summer Leagues. And man, Ricky, I know the Reds did not have a great week necessarily by any standard or any metric, aside from maybe Noel V. Marte. But the Cincinnati Reds minor leagues, man, did they have a heck of a week. What were your thoughts initially on this week of minor league baseball?
Yeah, I mean, it's insane, the performances that they had this week. Kind of teased it to start the show. A cycle, multiple grand slams, a crazy walk-off finish that we'll get to in the Dayton segment. Just, I mean, if the cycle's rare, I think the walk-off finish might be even more rare. I mean, how often do you see that? So, yeah, I mean, crazy week, just crazy week.
Absolutely. There's so many. When we're talking before the show, texting before the show about the prospect of the week, you're like, oh, this guy? I'm like, Ricky, I got 5 guys that could be prospect of the week. And that's not even including like 2 guys from Dayton that could have been prospect of the week. So it was great stuff from the minor leagues this week. just individual performances across the board. But before we get into all that, we're going to launch into our sponsors, frostbuddy.com/redhotreds. Check them out. The URL at the bottom and also the QR code. You can scan that with your phone to check out all these options for you. Frostbuddy.com. Got Father's Day coming up. So if you're looking to get somebody in your life, a father, father-in-law, a Frost Buddy, I got mine early, my Frost Buddy, a little early Father's Day gift for myself, which has been great. It also got number one dad on there for the Reds, and plus many others. Like you got Ohio State father in your life, you got a UK father in your life, got whoever that you got there.
Yeah, they've even got general just baseball themed bottles. And they got America's 250th birthday celebration designs. They've got this one that I'm really it's a watermelon, like the whole entire bottle is just a watermelon. It's really cool. I'm gonna do a quick little demo here for you guys to show you some of the versatility of these Frost Buddies. So I have here the Universal Buddy XL, and I have a standard Red Bull in here. Nothing crazy. And you're probably thinking, oh, but it's a slim can. I need a new koozie for my other cans. No, you don't. Not with Frost Buddy. So I have the Red Bull slim can. Now I have standard Pepsi. All you got to do is flip your insert around, and then boom. Now you have your standard 12-ounce can cold for up to 6 to 8 hours. And then, maybe you're like me and you like Arizona teas or the big piece teas, or like Roger and you like 20-ounce Budweisers. You just pop this insert out. I forgot to grab the lid, but it comes with a secondary lid.
Mm-hmm.
You pop that in, and then boom, your lid just fits right on there, and your 20-ounce can fits in there too. And if you're like me, I love Arizona teas. And to be able to have a koozie that can hold all of them is a game changer to me. And, I have my other one here, using it as a tumbler with my 100% leak-proof lid, and I will demonstrate that too. Boom, not going anywhere. So that thing will hold ice for a very long time. I work in a very hot warehouse, and it's not even hot outside yet, and it's hot in there, and I have ice in there for like 12 hours. So I talked about it on the Reds show yesterday, and I had ice. I worked Saturday, and I had ice in it at 8 o'clock in the morning, and at 11 p.m. I just went over and checked it, and I still had ice in it. And yeah, I'm not just saying this because they help us out. They've never sent me anything, and I'm saying this as a customer. They are by far my favorite koozie. And if you're into koozies and you're tired of switching out your koozies, Frost Buddy's the way to go.
Yeah, my wife gave it a 2 thumbs up as well. She used it last night, and she usually is kind of a slow sipper, and she said it kept her drink cold the whole night. So you got the wife on board as well, and I think your wife's on board as well, Ricky.
Yeah, she's got her own. She's got a cool little sparkly one. She's got a glitter one. They have a the to-go. I'll bring the graphic back up. They have a to-go buddy that you'll see it on the graphic. They have the Dunkin' cups in it. So those, if you go to McDonald's or whatever, and you like to get your teas, and you're not a quick drinker. Like, I'm a fast drinker. I usually have them before the ice is gone. But they also eliminate sweat too. So when you're not having it in there, you don't have sweat in your cup. So that's also nice. But that will keep your ice cold for 24 hours. I had ice. I got a Skyline sweet tea, and I left it overnight, forgot about it in the morning, got home from work, and I still had ice in my tea, and it wasn't watered down. So it tasted just like I got it fresh from Skyline. So yeah, every product that they have is top notch, and I couldn't be happier that they agreed to help us out by any means. And I'm saying this as a customer first. Everything they have is awesome.
Yeah, the great company on the rise with a great product, lots of different teams you could put on there, different designs and all that. So help them, helps us. Frostbuddy.com/redhotreds. Go get your Frost Buddy today. Also want to shout out our YouTube podcast network, All Gloves Off, Lights Out Podcast, Cheap Pop Society, Fanboys Unleashed, Far End the Bench Podcast, All Eras with Sirhan, and the Football with Cheese. I almost forgot. And our shows, Red Hot Reds and Minor League Monday, the show that you're watching right now. If you can't catch us live or when we premiere our shows, we also are on Apple, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. If you're a podcast person, you can check us out there. Give us a 5-star review. It goes a long way to get us out there in the algorithm, and hopefully it's new people. We're really appreciative of the people that have subscribed and listened to our show through all the ways that we have it out there, especially YouTube. We're trying to grow that YouTube channel, so check out youtube.com /@ Red Hot Reds podcast and subscribe there for all your highlights of the minor leaguers that we throw out there, and also for these 2 shows that we have here. So we're really appreciative of all the fans we have out there.
Yeah, and if you're on Apple and if you're on Spotify and if you're on iHeart, leave us a 5-star review. That really helps out on the algorithm there as well, and it goes a long way. We're truly grateful for everybody that listens to this show. I can speak for you, Roger. I mean, this is a blessing, and to be able to do this, we're not making any money, obviously, but to be able to do this as a hobby alone, is awesome. To have somewhat of a following. I mean, we just crossed over 200 subscribers on YouTube. We have a pretty decent following on Apple and Spotify and iHeart, and I think we're on YouTube podcasts as well, just based off where the episodes go in the playlist. But yeah, I mean, it's truly a blessing to be able to talk Reds and Reds minor league baseball with you guys, and to be the only podcast that's dedicated to having a full minor league segment weekly is really cool to be able to have that.
Yeah, we're really appreciative of all our fans. Shout out superstar Mark Fetters, who went to the game with me on Friday, and everyone else that's subscribed, and all the OGs and all the new people as well, because we're trying to get out there and grow. Maybe one day we'll be professionals at this, but we're really appreciative of everyone that's been with us on the rise that we've been so far, and we just want to keep giving you the best Reds content that we can. So yeah, really grateful and thankful for you, Ricky, for all the stuff you do behind the scenes for this show.
You as well. It's a love fest over here.
Yeah.
And speaking of great content, what better way to see great Reds content than to go to a game? And we have our ticket giveaway. This episode will air at 10 a.m. on Monday. I'm going to end our giveaway at 3 p.m. on Monday. So I'll make a video, probably just record it on my phone, and I'll go and make like a spinning wheel, and I'll record the winner, make a clip, post it on all of our socials, and we'll contact the winner. But we have a Eugenio Suarez bobblehead game, June 24th. We're giving you about a week and a half to prepare for it. So if you win and you can't make it, let us know. We'll pick another winner, and we'll get that taken care of. But that bobblehead looks really cool. Hopefully Gino can get hot before that bobblehead, and hopefully he's not cut right after like the rest of our bobblehead guys. And so get in on that. Just comment a picture that you're subscribed to our YouTube page. It's really easy. Just if you're on an iPhone, it's just your power and your top volume button on your YouTube page, and you just take a screenshot and post a picture on Twitter, on Facebook. We have pinned post on each of those. I've shared them in some Reds groups. They're on the 4192 page. They're on Carrick's Farm Report page. So yeah, we'll have the winner by 3 p.m. Eastern on Monday.
Yeah, so your last day to get in. Really appreciate all the entrants that have already sent us their screenshot and everything. So and you got to make sure you have the MLB Ballpark app, because that's where I'll send the digital tickets to go to the game. Really appreciate everyone that's participated so far. Last chance, Ricky. Last chance to do this. So thank you, everyone that's participated. We'll get in touch with the winner very soon. So
yeah.
Getting into the Reds minor league system, we will go DSL. DSL had an interesting week. We've got some guys that we've been talking about a lot of guys. There are guys that I think hopefully that if they follow our show, we'll be starting to get really, really more and more familiar with. A guy that I'm really high on, and a guy that the Reds are really high on because they took him in the international free agency period in 2026, very, very high. But the DSL Reds end up going 2-3 on the week, and DSL Rojos same 2-3 on the week. There is one thing of note that kind of happened throughout the week. Johan Cabeza, which I think has been a pretty decent pitcher in the DSL, I don't know what's going on with the transaction logs. I don't know if there's like maybe some errors sometimes, maybe people put the wrong thing. It said Johan Cabeza, who is a DSL Rojo, so like the B team of the DSL teams, got assigned to the Louisville Bats. And I was like, what is going on? I even messaged Carrick. I'm like, this can't be right. What ended up happening, they sorted it all out. He's now going to be an ACL Red. So shout out to Johan Cabeza. He had a pretty decent start to the DSL season, but these kind of skipped a level. He didn't go up to the Reds, the DSL Reds. He went all the way ACL. He's stateside, which is good because we've got some guys that possibly could be getting to stateside sooner than later. But he's the first guy. I think he's 19 years old, pitcher. He's pitched pretty well. I think it's 1 ERA.
1.08 ERA in 2 games, 8 1/3 innings, 9 strikeouts, a under 1 whip. He's got a 1.38 whip in his career. So he's been really good down there to DSL.
So he's stateside now, which is great. We can see him in the ACL, maybe even get some more highlights of him down there. So that'll be somebody to watch. But what were some takeaways from the DSL this week for you?
Yeah, so Monday, they win 21-4 over the Dodgers Bautista team. Angel Nunez continues to flourish in the DSL. He could skip a level. I think bring him stateside next year. He could probably come up now, honestly, but I think he's just too young.
Yeah.
But he goes 1 for 4 on Monday. Just been a doubles machine, been an RBI machine, hitting leadoff. So for the season, he's hitting .414 with a .541 on base. And I think if he keeps that up, that's going to set the record again because Pablo Nunez set the record last year. I believe no relation because different countries. But I think Pablo Nunez had like a 530-ish. It was in the fives, but I don't think it was quite 541, and maybe it's 545. He's really close to having that record. And he's heralded as a spectacular fielder. They weren't so sure about his bat. They weren't downing his bat, but he was in obviously 16U leagues. And it's hard to judge, some players with those kind of stats, but the Reds took him. He was their top overall signee at like $3.5 million. And in 8 games, he's like I said, slashing .414, .541, .759 slug, 1,300 OPS with 7 walks and 5 strikeouts. A triple, 2 home runs, 2 doubles. I think he homered this week, and he's 11 runs scored. He's got almost as many runs scored as he does hits. He's been spectacular. I can't speak highly enough about Angel Nunez Jr. I think he's going to be a star. I think he's going to be that next star that comes through the organization in around 2029, 2030, 2031, around that time. He's still so young, man. Maybe he catches lightning in a bottle when he gets to affiliate ball and he can skip levels quickly. The Reds just don't do that for some reason. But if let's just say he was to go to the ACL next year, he probably hits single A that year also. And then, 2028, you're looking at high A, double A, and then 2029, double A, triple A. Possibly major league debut if he's on fire in 2029. So I'm thinking 2029, 2030. 2030 is probably the earliest we see him. That puts him at 21 years old? Like he would be super young. I mean, he just turned 17 years old in April. So, we're putting a lot of pressure on this kid already to be that next star, but coming from an organization that just hasn't had star players. You go back the last 20 years, we've had 2 really legitimate stars in Joey Votto and Ellie De La Cruz. And Ellie De La Cruz is really just getting started. But Yeah, Angel Nunez has had an incredible week this week, and he's not the only guy. I'm sure you have some guys you want to talk about, but we're really high on Angel Salillo. I was really high on him last year, and he's looking really good this year. An underrated signing from this past free agency signing period was Alexander Cuello out of the Dominican Republic. He's a shortstop / third baseman kind of guy. Signed really cheap. I want to say he was around 500,000, maybe less, and he's slashing 370, 485 with a 1.004 OPS, and he hit his first professional home run relatively recently. And he's 17. He turns 18 in November. So really young player. He could potentially be stateside next year. He's on the DSL Rojos, so they might end up moving him to the DSL Reds team, depending on what they do with the rosters and whatnot they do with the shuffling of that. But yeah, overall, man, like there's so many. Carlos Hernandez is another guy that's been really good. Diego Pacheco, I think he was a signing this year. Catcher, he's been relatively quiet, but he's been okay. And then two other guys that I really want to kind of highlight is Jordan Iwanyu. He's kind of struggled. He's 18 out of France. Signed him last summer, so he kind of got a late start the season last year. I think he only played a handful of games in the DSL last year, but he just turned 18. He turns 19 in October. Doesn't have a professional home run yet, but he does have a 788 OPS this year. So we're seeing some improvement out of him this year, but the average is still right at 200. So he's kind of struggled a little bit, but he's also on the lower DSL Rojos team. And the last guy I really want to highlight, friend of the show on Instagram, Jose Colina. He's been on fire to start his season. A little bit of a cold stretch here recently. His average did drop to 250, but he's got a 400 on base. But his slugging is what's kind of down, 292 slugging. He does have a double, but all of it have been singles. But he is walking and striking out at an even rate, so he's going to be okay.
Yeah, you're right about Alexander Cuello. $275,000 signing in this past free agent period, so very underrated based on the amount they signed for, especially in comparison to Angel Nunez is just $3.5 million and whatnot. And I want to say that Diego Pacheco is about $700,000 in this signing is what I think I just saw. So very underrated, but hitting really well so far in the DSL Rojos. The weirdest thing about Angel Nunez Jr.'s week is that he only played 4 out of the 5 games. So is there a movement? Is he going to go up to the DSL Reds already? Is this because we kind of figured out it's kind of A versus B team, and we already had some movement with Johan Cabeza coming stateside, which is great to see. So maybe Angel Nunez would be a DSL Red sooner than later. Or
what? It's never mind. It was May 31st. So for some reason they had him on the DSL Reds to start, and then they moved him down to the Rojos. That's what it was. I got a little excited for a second, but
yeah, the assigning thing in the DSL can be a bit weird. Like I told you when we did the DSL preview some couple weeks back, they had 4 catchers on one team and 1 on the other. It's not very tidy paperwork to say the least down there. And again, the Reds are the ones that somehow put Johan Cabeza on the Louisville Bats for a day and a half. So I don't know what's going on. Sometimes, this is the part of the organization that we'd like to be a little more tapped into. Maybe we can make some friends one day. But the guy I want to talk about, and you touched on a little bit, Angel Salillo. I think he should be the next guy stateside for sure. He's been killing it at DSL Reds. Second year in the DSL, only 18 years old, but slashing 421 batting average, 511 on base, and 711 slug for on base plus slugging a 1.222. He's only got 1 homer on the year, and we've talked about hitting home runs is not something that happens a lot in the DSL. The fences are really far back. Plus, these kids are young; they're not necessarily grown into their bodies as of yet. But through the 10 games Angel Salillo has played, he's got 7 extra base hits, 4 doubles, 2 triples, and a homer, go along with 6 RBIs and 3 stolen bases in just 10 games. So not too bad. We'll talk about another prospect who hit 7 extra base hits out of his 10 hits total this year. So I think Angel Salillo might be the next guy coming over to the ACL Reds. Hopefully sooner than later, maybe at the end of the DSL season, into the Bridge League, over to the States, do some camps and stuff like that. Maybe he's in the ACL full time, in spring training of 2027 going into the next year. But just a guy that I really have enjoyed watching or seeing his highlights and stuff like that. This week in the 5 games, he hit 381, 458 on base, 571 slug with 2 doubles, a triple, and 4 RBIs. And just this week alone, he's got 4 of his 6 RBIs. So I can't say enough good things about Angel Salillo. He's kind of an underrated prospect. For us, he's, I think, the number 23 prospect. But for the Reds, he's not officially, I think, a top 30. A lot of other organizations value, or a lot of different outlets value Angel Salillo. But definitely we think that he's got potential to be a future Red down the line.
Yeah, for sure. And then for the DSL Reds, you touched on Salillo. Jose Martinez had a really good season so far. 429 average, 600 on base, which is incredible. A 1.171 OPS. No home runs yet. Also doesn't have a professional home run, but you're talking about a kid that's 5'8", 150 pounds. So outfielder, plays a pretty good outfield from what I'm seeing. Got some no errors. He does have some putouts. He has 1 outfield assist. So, you're talking about 17, 18-year-old kids. He just turned 18, so he's really young. Lieber Taponte's kind of struggled a little bit. He was the Reds' top signee last year in 2025.
Yeah,
hitting just 182, but he does have a 400 on base, so he's getting on base. It's just the hits aren't falling for him, which you can't really. It's hard to judge batting average in the DSL because the pitching's so erratic. You kind of just take what you can get as far as hits. It's the on base is what you're kind of looking at, and you're kind of looking at the underlying metrics, which we don't have access to. We don't have access to exit velocities and spin rate for pitchers and all that good stuff, which might have some contact to be able to help us out there, but we'll see where that goes. And then I haven't seen anything from Jacet Martinez. I don't know if he's hurt or if he's snuck onto the ACL roster without us knowing about it. Because I remember at the end of last season, I could have swore I saw him in a photo with a few of the ACL guys that got promoted at the end of the season. It would have been Hansel Jimenez, Pablo Nunez, Adolfo Sanchez, and somebody else. But I'm pretty sure Jacet Martinez was in that photo. And I haven't seen him play this week. So I don't know if he's hurt or if he's in the process of, visa and all that good stuff.
That very well could be. He's played 1 game for the DSL Reds this year, and that was the first week. I remember seeing him in the lineup and haven't seen him since. So that's a very good question, what he's doing. It could be visa issues. He is Venezuelan, and obviously American-Venezuelan relationships not at its greatest. We know that with Pablo Nunez being from Venezuela. So there could be that. It could be he could be ACL Red. This would be his 3rd season in the DSL. And
he was the MVP last year. So it's not like he was bad.
No, we were really concerned why he was starting his 3rd year there, because he felt like a guy that would automatically be in the ACL right now, like easily. But there could be extraneous factors that are keeping him out of the United States. But yeah, that's very interesting. There is one guy I want to shout out. Isaac Garcia had a decent day on Friday, 2 for 4 with a homer, 2 RBIs. He's had a pretty decent 2nd season in DSL. Really hoping that he can catch fire, much like Lieber Taponte and being the 2nd season DSL guys. We don't want them having numbers that you're kind of scratching your head going, I wonder what they're going to do with him. But this is also at the same time, I want to say that Ellie never hit like above 250 and Aristides Aquino never hit above 200 in the DSL. So just because the stats aren't great doesn't necessarily mean they turn into nothing. So hopefully both those guys can at least show a little bit more out of them being second-year guys in that Dominican Summer League. But, you know, yeah, the Jason Martinez question is very interesting. Hopefully we'll get some answers sooner than later.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe I'll reach out on Instagram and we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Anything else about our DSL guys?
No, there wasn't really many spectacular pitching outings. I mean, none that I really saw that was like extremely noteworthy. A lot of them were kind of like relief outings. There wasn't like much from the starters, but a lot of these guys are starters and they throw multiple innings out of the bullpen. So,
yeah, most guys don't pitch more tthan 4. Johan Cabeza, the guy we talked about a little bit earlier in the show, he
Really
pitched
good.
on Monday and pitched pretty well. 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 5 Ks, and like Ricky said, 1.08 ERA. That seems like a pretty good way to get to your ACL Reds, get stateside. So
yeah,
he started off the week well and ended his week well by getting a promotion.
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that, it is very hectic down in the DSL. Like I was writing down some scores on Tuesday. They lost the Reds, the DSL Reds and DSL Rojos both lost 17-1 and 16-1. So that kind of stuff happens down there, man, where you have some good outings. Like Ricky said, the DSL Rojos won 21-4 on Monday. And then all of a sudden, 2 days later, they're getting their heads kicked in. So it happens down there. They're young kids that the consistency is way all over the place sometimes. So
yeah, very young and very, this is their first professional seasons at any level. So, and we're also talking about high school aged kids and like freshmen in college. So yeah, a lot of young talent. And when you stand out, so, this is kind of where the talent prevails and you kind of, you see who you have and you find guys like a Pablo Nunez, who was a very cheap signing and goes and now he's promoted. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Yeah. Or Iker Rodona, another really, decent signing out of Mexico. Has done well, got himself to the ACL. So that will transition to the ACL where we have some pretty decent performances. The ACL team overall went 2-4 on the week, but we had, or 2-3 on the week, sorry. But we had some really good performances from different players. A guy that everyone has been waiting to see and has been performing really, really well. I've been highlighting him on our X page with his stats through the first month of the season of him. Steel Hall's been great with his stats and everything like that. It's been really encouraging to see. Eli Pitts has been good as of late for your ACL Reds. And yeah, like Ricky had mentioned, there was a promotion. Pablo Nunez, who just got to the ACL Reds a couple weeks ago, played a handful of games, is now with the Daytona Tortugas and playing center field there almost every single day. So shout out to Pablo. Hopefully he'll be able to catch fire. I can't say. I think he hasn't gotten officially his first hit. He's gotten on base and scored some.
He has one hit.
He has one hit. Okay.
He has one hit.
All right. So,
but he's getting on base. He's got 5 walks and 3 strikeouts. So he's doing what Pablo does.
Yeah, he's an on-base guy. He gets on base and has got decent speed to cause a little bit of traffic on the base pass, which is great to see. And we'll talk about him probably a little bit more with the Daytona section. But yeah, what were your initial takeaways from the ACL week?
Yeah, so Steel Hall continues to impress. Can't say enough about him. He's just been unbelievable. His bat wasn't projected to be what he's doing. And he's looking more and more like the player we thought he was compared to be with just Trey Turner. I think he has what he's doing now. He could be better than Trey Turner, which would be awesome. Even if he is Trey Turner's a multi-time All-Star. So you're looking at a really good player. But he's already got 6 home runs in 117 at-bats, 299 average, 419 on base, 983 OPS. Just unbelievable start to his professional career. 11 stolen bases, only caught 4 times, 11 doubles, a triple. Like, he's been every bit as advertised for the ACL and his professional debut being a first-round pick, and he's exceeding expectations already, which is great to see. And he's going to be a promotion guy later this year. They have to. I think that he's going to go up to low A, and he's probably going to perform there with how he's playing right now.
Yeah, low A could use it right now, and we'll get into that in a little bit with Daytona. But yeah, his power has been surprising to say the least, right? Usually guys hit pretty decently at the ACL, the thinner air they got there in Arizona and stuff like that. But they were, starting him out there to fix his swing. Like they were a little bit concerned at the way he went about his plate approach and what have you, and swing, and has been everything that was, kind of sold to us when they drafted him 9th or 10th overall, I want to say, in the 2025 draft. So like he has been fantastic, and it's great to see. A couple other guys I want to shout out. Mason Neville, who we've covered on the show, got demoted to ACL from Daytona, has had a couple home runs this week and is looking a lot better, hitting over 400. Another guy that possibly could be back in Daytona, because that was kind of the concern with him as well, is that he was striking out a lot. His batting average was low. He didn't look the same player that we drafted in the 4th round that we thought was a steal, because he led the college baseball in home runs. So like, it's good to see him starting to get back on track, starting to get back to, a little bit more confidence in his swing, a little bit more confidence in his plate approach. So glad to see that with him. Adolfo Sanchez had a pretty good performance in a couple days, especially Saturday. He went 3 for 5 with a run and a double. So he's looking great. He's, I think, another top 25 guy for us in the or top 30 guy for us in our prospect list. So it's good to see him excel at ACL. And then also Eli Pitts. He could be a guy in Daytona soon, based on how he's been hitting. I think he's still overhitting. He's hitting over 400 for the short ACL season that we've had so far. So I'm really encouraged with a bunch of these ACL guys. We've got a lot of promising prospects in this team, and that's not even to mention like Mason or Aaron Watson, also Hansel Jimenez, like all those guys that we haven't even touched on as much this season as the guys we just previously touched on. So what are some other guys you're looking at?
Yeah, so Hector Rodriguez had a pretty good week. He pitched on the 13th, 3 innings, and like a lot of these guys are throwing short outings. You're not seeing guys throw 6 innings. Throws 3 innings, 4 hits, just 2 earned runs, had 2 strikeouts and a walk. But he's looked really good in his stateside debut. He was a 1-year DSL guy. He's 18. He turns 19 in December, so still very young. We're really high on this kid. He's got a 1.18 whip. He was a DSL All-Star last year. Just been incredible throughout his career, just young career, with his ability to limit walks. And he's only had 1 game this season with more than 1 walk, and he's only had a walk in 5 games. So really good stuff from him. He's giving up some hits, but when you're facing guys that are good hitters, when you're throwing the ball in the zone, it's all about learning to throw out of the zone with command. And I think that's going to be something he's going to have to learn, which with his command being so good to throw it in the strike zone, I think he's going to find that ability to throw out of the strike zone with command. So I think he's going to be a really high-level pitcher if he can grow in to his frame a little bit. He's 5'11", 170 pounds. So if he can grow a couple inches, get a little stockier, I think he throws in the low 90s. If he can hit 95, 96 as he gets a little older and gets a little bigger, I think he's going to be a really good pitcher from Mexico. So he's good. I think I have a lot of faith in that kid. I think he's going to be a really good player.
Yeah, absolutely. And also another, I think he's left-handed, right? Hector Rodriguez. Another left-hander that we've been really talking about a lot. Raijateri Morete has been decent as well.
Yeah.
Both these guys are usually high strikeout guys. Morete not necessarily has the control that Hector Rodriguez is seemed to have. It's his command. Rodon's command has been ridiculous, and there is a possibility that when the ACL season is over, that he may end up in Daytona. I don't know about Morete. Morete might need another year of seasoning and working in the complex league a little bit more. But both of those guys are very exciting left-handers in our system and have performed pretty well in the ACL so far.
Yeah, and then like the last guy I want to touch on is Hervin Murillo, still hitting over 300, 315, 436, 987, and I also got this in the mail the other day, little Hervin Murillo card. So it's funny. I posted the picture on Instagram stories, and Pablo Nunez replied and says, "Hey, I have that card too." So,
all right.
So cool to see those guys all supporting each other. I think they're both Venezuelan, so it's kind of cool that they have that bond, and they're kind of coming up through the ranks together at such a young age. They played in Australia together. It's cool to see the camaraderie with the guys in the organization, and that's baseball, man. Baseball is a fun sport. You have the NFL, which you see mostly American-born players, but you'll have different backgrounds, cities, country, whatever they're from, area. But baseball, you get guys from Japan, Mexico, South America, Europe, Australia, China. I mean, you get guys from everywhere. Almost went Trump there. China. But a lot of players worldwide come together, and they all share a bond of trying to get to the ultimate goal of A, getting to the major leagues, and then B, winning a championship.
Yeah. We're having the World Cup go on right now, and soccer is a game that everywhere across the world is played, but baseball is not that far behind, which is why I mean, the takes we have on here about the World Baseball Classic, making it more of an important part of the calendar than just kind of a spring training exercise, is hopefully something in the works. It's something that I think you see the outpouring of emotion that the Venezuelans had when they won this year against the United States and Japan the year before, or the World Baseball Classic before. It feels like, they could really grow this game internationally because they got talent everywhere. Japan's got lots of talent. Dominican's got lots of talent. Venezuela's got lots of talent. Europe's starting to grow more and more. There's just a lot. China and Chinese Taipei, all those countries out there have ability to play this game, and it's great to see because America does have usually a pretty outsized chance with the amount of players that we have. They're super uber talented. Innings limits and stuff like that is where I feel like we hamper ourselves sometimes, the Americans, with saying, oh yeah, Detroit Tigers Skubal can only pitch 2 games and whatever, but that is a podcast for another day. The point being is that the world cares about baseball as much, maybe even more than we do sometimes here, so it's great to see.
And then one last thing I wanted to bring up about Hervin Murillo, on MLB they have his status as reserve list. So I don't know if he's injured or if he's about to see a promotion. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Could be. And if he does get promoted, we will talk about it here. Anything else to ACL before we move to Daytona?
No, I'm just really happy to see Steele Hall hitting the way he's hitting. And Adolfo Sanchez average isn't what you're wanting to see. I mean, 250 is not terrible. 259, I think, is what he's at.
Yeah,
not terrible by any means, but to see the power from him is really good to see too, because he's got a really pretty swing. I don't know if you've seen any highlights of him, but really good swing, left-handed hitter. Going to be a really good outfielder for years to come.
Yeah, for sure. We'll move on to Daytona, and Daytona is unfortunately one of the not so great performing part of our organization. I was looking at the lineup card today, and it had Drew Davies hitting 260, but everyone else that lined up in there was under 250, and it's kind of tough sled in. I know that Bernard Moon, and I think who's the other guy, Kyle Henley, are in the injured list or resting or what have you, so it's been a little bit rough, but they got a little bit of injection of energy like we talked about a little bit in the show. Pablo Nunez promoted to Daytona, already put in the lineup and a couple times at leadoff to get the table setter going. The on-base guy with a little bit of speed out there. Hopefully he can even have a better week this week. But, they went 2-4 this week, which is pretty good for Daytona, to be honest with you. And they had a walk-off win. We'll talk about another walk-off win later, but they had a walk-off win on a wild pitch if you saw where they didn't steal home, but they end up winning 3-2, which is, positive for this team. This team, though, I get the Florida State League is hard to hit, but there's these weeks where they only hit like 1 homer, or maybe no homers, or 2 homers, and that's got to be rough. It must be difficult to just play in that environment in Florida, and obviously they've not been performing well, so it double whammy for them. But what were your main takeaways for Daytona this week?
Yeah, just their offense is just not very good. And part of it is Tyson Lewis wasn't really playing good before he got hurt. And that kind of put a hamper on it. And then like you're seeing guys like Rafael Torres hitting at 200 or slightly above 200. Nielsen Butin has really kind of slowed down since he's gotten up to low A. Ichiro Kano, same. A lot of OPS is under 500 on this team. And, if you're not going to hit home runs, there's some gaps out there in Daytona. Find the gaps, but I don't know. It's just kind of how it goes sometimes. We saw it with Dayton a couple of years ago. There wasn't a lot of great hitters, and then they developed once they hit AA. So it just happens. It's unfortunate, but a lot of these guys, 18, 19 years old, still learning, a lot of young talent getting up there. It's unfortunate to see some of the pitching performances that we've seen. It was good to see Starlin Torres have a good outing the other on I think it was Wednesday. 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. His ERA is still up over 7, but it was good to see him throwing the ball well. He's a pitcher we're really high on. He's up in our, believe our top 15 in our top 30. Really good pitcher that we're really high on. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. I mean, they lost a really good hitter in Jacob Friend in his promotion to high A. And, we're really high on Pablo Nunez, like we've talked about since last year on this show. Well, mostly the Red Hot Reds Major League show with our minor league segment. But now that we have this full-on minor league segment, we've talked about him since the beginning. And, he did have 1 hit, so it was good to see. He's adjusting. He's an on-base machine, so if he's not going to hit, he's going to draw walks. He's already got more walks than strikeouts to this point, and his bat's really good. He's really good at making contact. It's gonna click for him. Give him some time. It's only been a couple games. I think he's played in 7 at bats or something like that. It's not much, but yeah, just a rough week overall. But it was cool to see them get that walk-off win on a wild pitch.
Yeah. You pointed out the pitching performance has not been great. They've got a bunch of guys that are in the top 30 for us as well. Starlin Torres, Edgar Colon, Davey Villafana, and Shingen Lin. They've had some moments, some flashes, but they haven't been consistently week in, week out, putting in quality starts. You know what I mean? Like, for example, Davey Villafana, just on Saturday, they got the win, but he didn't even make it out of the 4th inning. He went 3 2/3. And usually he's a guy that gets high strikeouts, low walks. He had 3 walks to 1 strikeout. And his ERA is 4, which is still pretty good, comparatively to some others. But we had a couple quality starts and decent starts out of Shingen Lin, and then Shingen Lin kind of started to struggle. So you find that at this level a lot. The pitching staff hopefully can start to figure it out. I'm not sure exactly who the next pitcher will be going to Dayton out of this group, because I kind of pegged Davey Villafana as one of them. Hasn't necessarily lived up to that pressure that I put on him, unfortunately. But he definitely is a guy that has some decent stuff. Maybe it's a reliever. Linerskin Lantigua had a pretty decent week, is what I had pointed out in my notes. He had 6 innings of relief, 0 runs against in those 6 innings, and got a save and 7 strikeouts in those 6 innings. So kind of an underrated guy that we haven't really touched on a lot, but he pitched out of the bullpen this week pretty decently. But yeah, some other guys that got promoted that have been struggling. Jalen Hairston from the ACL got moved up to Daytona, but he's only hitting in the low 190s 200. So hopefully with, Pablo there, maybe get some, energy back there. Maybe when, Tyson Lewis gets back, maybe he'll be a little bit, more consistent. He's been hitting in the 230s, 240s for most of the 2026 season. So there's some energy that's needed there down there in Daytona, and hopefully a couple of these guys can get them going again.
Yeah, and Mason Morris kind of struggled. I think it was Saturday. 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, gave up a home run, 4 strikeouts, just 2 walks. But he was really giving up some hits. And then, I'm going to go to their most recent lineup and just kind of go through their. Oh, that was on Sunday, Morris. So after the final, we have Rafael Torres, 216, Kyle Henley, 254. Ty Doucette has kind of struggled, but I think he came back from injury very recently.
Yeah.
218, Jalen Harrison, 194, Drew Davies, 263, Bernard Moon, 258, Pablo Nunez at 077, but he's only played in a handful of games. Ichiro Kano, 231, Nielsen Booten is a 268, and then Cade Hunter is at 160. And a lot of the OPSs are low. It's not clicking right now. And this is a team that got hot. They kind of struggled last year to start the year, and they weren't that great in the first half. And then when they got that new infusion of talent in the second half from some of the ACL guys, some draft pick guys like a Kian Vu, and funny enough, Arnaldo Lantigua heated up really well. I think he was a late promotion too out of ACL. And I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. Mason Neville, yeah, thank you, was pretty good last year. So
yeah,
it's just they ended up making the playoffs in the second half. A lot of that was from Alfredo Duno. Don't get it twisted. And then Ryan McChrystal was really good throughout the year too. So they're really just a couple players getting hot to being good. But I think the bigger issue is that their pitching is bad too.
Yeah.
Or just very inconsistent. And that's what the bigger issue is. I think a lot of us were very high on Mason Morris. He's a top 20 prospect on almost every list. And he's 1-6 with a 5.66 ERA. I think there was a lot of uncertainty whether he was going to be a starter or a reliever. He was a reliever in college, but he was like a bulk reliever in college. And the Reds are using him as a starter in Daytona. So we'll see how that goes going forward.
Yeah, for sure. We'll keep it tuned here for anything on Mason Morris and all the other Daytona Tortugas. Anything else about Daytona before moving on?
Nope.
Now we'll move on to Dayton Dragons, and my goodness, they are pushing for a playoff spot, Ricky. They're, I think, a game away from getting first place in the Midwest Division and their division to get into the playoffs, and they have just been fantastic. They went 5-1 this week, Ricky, and had some goodness. The performances were outstanding. The excitement, the drama was there. I don't know where you want to start with this. I mean, there's an obvious place, but then the other guy who you don't pick is just as exciting, just as awesome. And then there's a third guy who's hit a bunch of home runs this week. So I don't know. There's lots of options here. Where do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with a teaser from the start of the show. As Alfredo Duno just had a crazy weekend. He hit a grand slam on Sunday, and he hit a grand slam on Friday. So 2 grand slams over the weekend. It was funny because I don't know if you were watching the broadcast, but Tom Nichols was talking about Duno's struggles with runners in scoring position, kind of higher pressure situations, and not really coming through in like the most extreme power way. And the moment he finished his sentence, he put the ball over the scoreboard.
Yeah.
And it was just perfect timing of that. I like a good old reverse broadcaster's jinx.
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously he talked about it again on Sunday when he goes 1 for 4 with a grand slam. The average probably isn't where a lot of people would hoping, but 263 for a catcher with 913 OPS is incredible. And what's he have now? He has
15 home runs.
15 home runs. So he's already almost at his season high from last year. And at this pace, he's probably hitting 30.
Yeah.
In the minors this year. And I mean, I will say this. I saw a clip of a podcast. I don't know whose podcast it was. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know if he's credible or not. But he said that they see him as a permanent DH probably as soon as next year. Because apparently, I don't know how true this is, but apparently this kid can't catch a lick. Have they watched the game? Because, I mean, for one, it's only his second full season catching as a professional. He missed his entire DSL career, never played in the ACL, and then he goes to Daytona, and then he plays a second year because in his first year he gets hurt halfway through the year or a month and a half into the season, and he misses the rest of the year and doesn't catch much at all there. So really, 2025 was his first year behind the plate. So his bat's carrying him, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's been working with Salvador Perez over the offseason, and I don't think there's anybody better for him to follow just based off their body types. They're very similar players in terms of frame.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up on this kid as a catcher at 19 years old. There's just you can't. 20. Yeah, you can't. You can't.
No, I don't know. I feel like we're giving this guy, whoever this unnamed guy, a little bit too much air. And I think I saw a little bit of stuff on X, the Everything app about it. I'll say this, and you already mentioned his name, Salvador Perez, Venezuelan catcher. Come from a long line of Venezuelan catchers before him and after him. Venezuelan catchers know what they're doing. This is not like it's his first year ever playing catcher, and he comes from a culture that does not value baseball. Duno is going to be fine.
Yeah.
Is he more injury risk playing catcher than, say, first base or DH? Sure. Yeah, obviously. That's probably why they switched out Bryce Harper out of catcher, right? But we can have that conversation later. That's not a question of skill. That's a question of longevity. But anyway.
Yeah. You can't talk about a player's positional value at 20 years old. I mean, this is also coming from a fan base that says Ellie De La Cruz can't play shortstop, and he's got 3 errors this season. So, I mean,
this guy's a Reds fan that said that?
I'm not sure if he's a Reds fan, but it was a like Cincinnati. I don't know what. Even if I knew, I'm not going to say who it is. But
okay,
come on, just come on.
If he was getting pass balls and wild pitches like every other game that I was watching him play catcher in Dayton, yeah, okay, there's an argument there. But come on, man, anyway. Let's not get this anymore. Alfredo Duno is awesome and he's been great, but he's not been the only guy. I don't know if you have any more thoughts on Duno, but I want to talk about our guy, Hien Fu, has been absolutely awesome. And you talk about like batting average not being great for certain guys. His batting average is not great, but his on-base percentage and getting on base has been excellent.
It's climbing.
Yeah, but his power, man. His power has been like surprising. Yeah. He just got that pop. He's been hitting third in the lineup majority of the season. When I was thinking he'd be like a 2-1, leadoff hitter type thing. Well, hey, more power to him. He is just doing it. And I don't know if you want to get into this or talk more about this. He stole the show Thursday night. Yeah. Thursday night, stole the game. Just
literally
home, won 5-4. Is trying to get this team to the playoffs any way he can. And he also had, I think, 4 stolen bases this week, including home. So, like, this guy can do it all as far as I can tell.
Yeah. So I messaged him after the game Thursday, and I was like, dude, what were you thinking? Yeah, he said, I just went for it. He said, Julio said, might as well. So, hey,
really?
He showed some speed on that too. We'll share the clip on our socials. I think it's on our YouTube shorts. If it's not, one of us will post it. But I was just like, I just messaged him. I said, dude, hell of a play. That was gutsy. What the hell was going through your mind that took balls? And he was just like, thank you. I just went for it. But incredible. I've never personally seen a steal of home to win the game. I mean, we've seen some steals of home. I think Billy Hamilton stole home a couple times, but I mean, I've never seen someone do it in walk-off fashion before. And for somebody who I guess you're not really looking at as the fastest player in Keyneville, I'm not saying he's slow by any means, but for someone you probably don't think of speed first for his game, he's a really rangy outfielder. He's already got 23 stolen bases this year. He's halfway to a 2020 season. He's got 10 home runs, 23 stolen bases. So he could very, very well hit 20 home runs and have 40 stolen bases by the end of this year. And like you said, his batting average wasn't great, but he's got that up to 274 now and 909 OPS. So, I mean, he's someone that we were both very, very high on coming into Dayton. We kind of figured he wasn't going to go back to Daytona after the way he played last year, especially coming out of college, being a former All-American. And he's figured it out. He's getting used to the high A level. And now you just question when he gets to Double A because he's playing well enough. Really good at working the count. Like you said, really surprising to see where he's batting in the order. He was batting cleanup for a little bit behind Alfredo Duno. So it's really cool to see where he's been hitting out of the order. And part of that is because of how good Carlos Sanchez has been from the leadoff spot. And he has been absolutely bonkers, I guess is the word I would use for him this season. 307 average, 404 on base. Sneaky pop for him too, 7 home runs, 14 stolen bases. I'm not saying he's a bad shortstop by any means. I just think for long term, I don't think he sticks at shortstop just based on who's ahead of him. And maybe center field's his future, maybe corner outfield's, but maybe even third base could be a spot for him. But I mean, he's been awesome to see his progression this year. And he would be a candidate for me for the MLB Futures game. If they were to take him, that'd be a really good pick.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that. That's a good one. I didn't think of that. He's had 2 straight games of home runs, Saturday and Sunday. He had two home runs showing. He hasn't had the biggest pop in his bat. He's been a guy that hits triples and doubles and gets on base. And like you said, high batting average and on base for Mr. Carlos Sanchez, which has been great to see as a table setter, leadoff hitter every single game. You could pencil him in for at least 2 hits, it feels like, and a couple stolen bases here and there. A couple other guys I want to shout out because obviously I love the Carlos Sanchez Futures game pick. That'd be awesome to see. We've already seen Duno and Sal Stu last year, which was awesome. But yeah, I would love to see the Carlos Sanchez. Mr. Kyle McCoy has been really, really good since he got promoted from Daytona. On Wednesday, 5 innings, 2 hits only, earned run, and 5 strikeouts on the season. His ERA is 3.31. Another guy, a left-hander. I saw him pitch that day. I think just the angle, his arm slot is very deceptive. A lot of guys are not picking it up out of there. He's got this long kind of length, gangly frame, which is, maybe that helps with his delivery to the plate. Great stuff out of him. Hoping he can keep building on that. He could be a guy moving up, maybe not this year, but maybe at the end of this year, going into 2027, could be in Chattanooga pitching for the Lookouts. And there's one other guy. Carter Graham just continues to smash the ball. Like every time I see like a Carter Graham highlight, it's always like 2 homers, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 RBIs. Like this guy is just when he hits in bunches, and it's kind of crazy to see. And I want to say he's a little bit on the older side, 24 years old.
24, yeah.
Yeah, so he should be. I think he might be a guy that maybe at the midway point, if there's a spot for him in Chattanooga. He plays a lot of first base. That's where big Ruba Bar is. So I don't know. And also, our guy McChrystal plays first base as well. So I don't know if there's a spot for him. So that might be the difficulty for a Carter Graham. And then also be a friend, tell a friend. Jacob Friend, my goodness. I don't know, Ricky, if you saw the highlight. The Jacob Friend literally hit it onto the street today. He just smashes the ball. If it's in the zone and he gets a hold of it, he hits it. The fans have no chance of getting the ball because it goes outside the stadium. It's so ridiculous. Just the power in this guy. Maybe because, Duno, McChrystal, Connor Burns obviously still hurt. Will Banfield's been really good at AAA. PJ Higgins has been serviceable at the AAA at the major league level. Maybe the outfield is Jacob Friend. You know what I mean? Like maybe the future there. You get him to Chattanooga with a promotion of Carlos Jorge, and get him as a full-time outfielder. He's super athletic and talented. It sounds like from our interview he still likes catching, time to time. But, we got a bunch of other catchers maybe in the pipeline. But he is an outstanding plus power, plus athleticism.
He's insane. Awesome. He's insane. And he's played exclusively left field for Dayton. So maybe that's where he sticks. He's a great athlete. And maybe they feel like his athleticism, they don't want to diminish that from catching every day, and they want to save his knees. Plus, with the influx of catching talent that we've had over the last couple of years, you can afford to move one of these guys out of the position. I'm sure he loves catching all the time, but I don't think he's caught one game for Dayton, really? And he's played 12 games. Yeah. And he's played left field exclusively, basically. So just really good. And like the last guy I want to touch on is Jose Montero. Started the year in AA, really struggled. Had an 8 ERA, I want to say. Yeah. Giving up a ton of hits. He had a 3.25 batting average against him. He is now back with Dayton in high A. In 31 in the third innings. He's got a 2.12 batting average against him, 2.87 ERA. Really good to see from him. Just he's 3-0 since he's got sent back down. I think with Jose Acuna and Nestor Laurent up there in Chattanooga, you can afford to move a guy down, and they did. And it's been beneficial to Mr. Montero, because he has been really good for the Dragons. On Sunday, I believe he pitched Sunday. Dragons also won 17-1. So low stress game from Mr. Montero, but 6 innings, 5 hits, an earned run. I was a home run, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. Just been really good. Really glad to see him playing well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Dayton, there's a lot of positive things. So get out to the ballpark. I'm trying to get out there in a week or so. So gotta get those guys. Here's the thing, though, that there may be some midseason promotions going on. We will cover that because I think their season ends July or June 18th or 17th, around there, or at least the midway part for playoff considerations and whatnot. So hopefully the Dragons can pull out a couple more wins in the next couple days and get a playoff position, because they're certainly playing well enough to be a first half playoff team.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else about the Dayton Dragons?
Nope.
Let's move it on. Chattanooga has been decent. They've had some up and down performances. 3-3 on the week, splitting it. Some guys that have been struggling of late. Cam Collier has been hitting under 200 for the last couple weeks, which is not good to see. I think he hit a home run this week, so a little bit of pop, but overall it's not been on fire as much as we'd hope with Cam Collier on the season, hitting 214. Not necessarily great, but there have been other guys that have been performing pretty decently. Carlos Jorge, again, having a pretty decent week. Not like on fire like he was last week, where I think he had like 11 or 12 hits on the week. McChrystal has been playing pretty well. Our guy Jonathan Harmon had a pretty good performance this week. On the season, I think he's 6-2 record, so he's been pitching pretty well. But what were your first thoughts about the Chattanooga Lookouts?
Yeah, Ryan McChrystal hit a second home run in the AA. In Jonathan Harmon's start, Harmon went 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts in his outing. Got his ERA down from like 6.5 down to 4.43. So really good to see him turning it on. And he's someone that I'm really high on. He was a later round pick, 13th round in 2022. Unfortunately, had to go through Tommy John and the rehab process for that. Missed almost all of last season. Came up back in Dayton, pitched pretty well. Pitched in the fall league, looked pretty good. Really good to see him. He's a big guy, 6'4", just really good stuff. And I'm really happy to see him having success after that surgery. Because I remember when we talked to him, when he first kind of went through it, he kind of had that doubt come in, like, do I want to pitch again? Am I going to be able to do this? And then he got to the rehab facility and he sees all these other guys like Hunter Green going through rehab and Brandon Williamson going through rehab. And he's like, oh yeah, I want to get here. I want what they got. I want their cars. I want their house. I want all that stuff. So great energy from him. He's a great guy. I think I plug it every time we talk about him, but our interview with him is one of my favorite interviews we have because his energy is infectious. Yeah. And he is a great dude. I'd love to see him make his way up because I think he's a really good story for one, and then just two, like he's a really good pitcher. So yeah, I like him a lot, and I'm really happy to see him really pitching well.
Yeah, for sure. Another guy that had a decent week for Louisville, or Chattanooga. Sorry, not moving on Louisville. Yeah, Leo Balcazar showed some pop. He went 7 for 20 this week, 2 homers and 6 RBIs, slashing 350 batting average, 458 on base, and 700 slug. So that can't be too bad. I mean, a guy on the 40-man roster that was added to protect him from the Rule 5 draft. Maybe a guy that could be in Chattanooga or Louisville sooner than later with the promotion of Edwin Arroyo. I know that they've been moving Leo around. Like, he plays shortstop a lot, second and third. So there could be that, especially if he's going to have a week like this week and maybe a little bit more consistently. He's been a little bit down. Like, his batting average is still around the 250 area, even though he started out really hot, like a lot of Chattanooga guys did to start the year. And I think they won like 16 of their first 17 games this year. So like he started out hot, but it's cooled off. But maybe this week will get him going again, and maybe getting into the talks of mid-season promotion to Louisville, which would be nice to see. Just because you can use a lot of depth. I know we've got some guys there that do play in the middle infields for the Louisville Bats, but I'm not sure what exactly their promotion schedule is to the big leagues. We got like a Michael Chavis, you got like my guy Francisco or Baez, and your guy Hamster is still there in Louisville. So I don't know. I think Leo probably is above them in the promotion rankings, if I may say. So it would be good to see him play consistently in Louisville soon.
Yeah, and then the last guy I want to talk about really is Jose Acuna. Just tagged with the loss on Saturday, but 8 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. Did give up 2 home runs, but he's been really good in AA. So I'm really excited to see him coming through the organization. I believe he was in that trade with Hector Rodriguez for Tyler Naquin. So Reds clearly are winning that trade as far as like the prospects that they got back and where Tyler Naquin is at this moment. So both of those prospects are still really young. Acuna is 23, Hector's 22. So really good stuff from them, and they could be major league players next year. Yeah.
Jose Acuna, prospect of the week last week, I believe. He had 2 outings last week that were outstanding. Follows it up with Venezuela. Follows it up with a 3rd straight performance. That's outstanding for him. So another possible midseason promotion. Can't have enough good pitching. And if he's 23 years old in AAA, a step away, I like the sound of that. Jose Acuna is a Louisville Bat. I like the sound of that.
Just closer for us to go see him too.
Exactly. Yeah, I hear he's also a good dude. He spent a lot of time in spring training, like signing autographs and stuff, and taking time for kids and family and what have you. So So it sounds good to me to have him in the organization, like a bunch of other guys that are good people. So good people, good results, hopefully for those good people. But any other guys we want to highlight for Chattanooga?
No, just I hope like we talked about it all the time, but I really hope Cam Collier can get it going because we're still really high on him, and just it's been a struggle ever since the thumb injury, and just we'll see where he goes. But there have been some rumors about him, so we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. Hopefully, we're not sellers of our organization. I don't know. We'll get into that in the Major League show probably when it starts to get closer and closer to trade deadline. But hopefully, we won't be hearing too much chatter in that arena. Moving on to Louisville Bats, they had a weird week. They had a week where we should have talked about this as a teaser at the top of the show. They had a guy that's playing out of his mind for one, but back-to-back games, Ricky, they scored 20 runs each game. They had 40 runs in 2 days. They were playing up against the Iowa Cubs, a hated, divisional rival, and they have a pretty decent organization. So just to say that they scored 40 runs in 2 days, where they had to throw the same position player in there, just because they didn't want to burn any real pitchers out there. That says a lot about at least the Louisville Bats and where they're at this week. They ended up not finishing the game on Sunday, and ended up being 4-4. So it's high because the weather kind of hit us on Sunday a little bit hard. It delayed the Reds game a little bit. Their week, Ricky, was 3-2-1. And I don't think we'll be able to say that probably anymore or anywhere else.
Sounds like a Reds Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking more like a World Cup record where they have a bunch of ties and stuff like that. I don't think we'll say that about the Louisville Bats any other time than this week. But yeah, man, I don't know if you want to launch into the top performers and guys you want to highlight, but like the Bats were pretty good. It's kind of surprising that they lost 2 games and had a chance to split the series. I thought they were, kicking the Iowa Cubs in the tail really well this week. And a bunch of guys that come to mind. TJ Friedl got it going, and that's good because obviously his confidence has been really, really low, even before his assignment to the Louisville Bats. I think he had like a 4-for-5 day and another day where he had a bunch of home runs and stuff like that. So good stuff out of TJ Friedl. Hopefully he can have another positive week. I don't know exactly what that means for him in the future, but we'll figure that out. Maybe an injury opens up a spot for him to go because I believe he's still on the 40-man roster, right? So they won't have to change any out DFA or anything like that if there's an injury or option.
Yeah, it would just be as simple as, example would be optioning Blake Dunn back down to AAA and bring him back up TJ Friedl if that's the way they were to go. But that's also the case for Hector Rodriguez, who it went bonkers on Friday and Saturday. So he goes 4 for 6 on Friday, hits for the cycle. And the cycle was completed by the 6th inning. He singled, and then he homered, then he doubled, then he tripled. It was just absolutely insane. And then he follows that up on Saturday by going 4 for 6 with 2 home runs. Just absolutely insane week of baseball for him. We'll talk about him a little bit more later, but in the month of June, he's really, really turned it up. 298 average, 400 on base. His 400 on base is up by 58 points. He was at 342 in May. So he's doing a little bit better of drawing walks. And his slugging's up to 702 with a 1.102 OPS in June. So really good stuff from him in the month of June and in this week. Just absolutely incredible stats from him. And we've highlighted it before, but his chase rate is down, his swing rate is down, he's walking more, he's doing all the right things. I don't believe they would give him a shot over TJ Friedl, especially if Friedel's hitting again. I would believe that Friedl would be the next outfielder promoted. But, Hector is clearly the future corner outfielder in Cincinnati, and he's 22. But you're also looking at an outfield with a lot of young and control players with Noelvi Marte and JJ Bleday and Dane Myers, Blake Dunn, Spencer Steer's been in the outfield a lot.
Yeah.
Dane Myers, just a lot of young, controllable outfielders that it'd be hard to play Hector every day now, but it's also going to be hard to play him every day next year too, unless you make a Will Benson. You have a bunch of outfielders that are young and controllable that a lot of people see potential in. But I think if I had to pick, I like Hector over the majority of them. I would say the only two outfielders that I'm kind of higher on than Hector would be Bleday and Marte are the two that I'm like the highest on.
Yeah.
So maybe Hector moves over to left field, Marte's in right, and then Bleday plays center as your everyday outfielders going forward. But I don't see them giving up on TJ Friedl anytime soon either, especially with the way he's been performing. He's hitting up over 300 since he's got sent down. So it's good to see him confident and playing well. But I mean, Hector Rodriguez has 15 home runs this year. So he's playing well.
Yeah. I think we talked about this either before the show or on the Sunday show for the major league team for the Reds. I don't see Hector until maybe September. Maybe there's an injury before that. Maybe Marte struggles and maybe there's an option down and maybe they bring him up then. But then you're right. If TJ Friedel's hitting, he's probably going to get priority because I don't think they want to get, a 22-year-old that can't play every single day or has to play every single day. So I think they may keep him in the minors maybe one more season and maybe next year this time we're talking about Hector Rodriguez playing in Cincinnati a little bit more. I don't know. It's frustrating because he has this ability. He has great in the zone contact rate and has cut down on his strikeouts and everything like that. He's doing all the right things that he should. It's just a matter of he doesn't have a spot at the major league team. Maybe if this team isn't winning and it's off track and there's possible trades and whatnot, there may be a spot that opens up for Hector Rodriguez. Not wishing for that, but at the same time, his development needs to be on a daily basis. So he can't be in Cincinnati if he's not playing every single day, especially because Marte came off a week where he hit 3 home runs. So this might be Hector Rodriguez show at AAA for a lot, kind of like how we're seeing Michael Toglia have a great minor league season, but there's no spot in Cincinnati for him either. So it's kind of frustrating that way for Hector Rodriguez, a top 5 prospect for us, a guy that we're really high on. I don't know what you do to get him a spot other than if, like I said, the season goes off the rails and you have to basically get rid of people and get rid of contracts. We will see what that looks like, I guess, in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I think kind of going back to Toglia because he's been really well down there in Louisville, and I'll say it again. I always joked when we didn't get Kyle Schwarber in Cincinnati, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna go get Michael Toglia," and we did, and I'm happy we did because he's been a very underrated signing and an underrated player in the organization. He's got 12 home runs or something like that. 15. So he's been great. I mean, great. Maybe not great's not the best word, but he's very surprising. Very surprising. 911 OPS, just former first-round pick. He was 23rd overall out of UCLA. I want to say he was teammates with Matt McClain in college. So, really, good potential from him. Maybe he gets a Bleday type run going in Louisville, and I think the path for him to get to the major leagues is if the Reds decide to sell, and they sell Nate Lowe, and that's where you would see Toglia get up and get a chance. I mean, switch hitter, left-handed thrower, plays the outfield too, so he could platoon in the outfield and play first base, DH. So good pop from him. And actually, he has 17 home runs.
Oh my God. Yeah. Undersold.
Yeah, so,
sorry, Michael.
Sold him short, Roger. 50 RBIs too.
Oh my God.
Just been a lightning rod down there in Louisville. So just really good to see. he's still just 27 years old. So, yeah, I mean, I can't say enough great things about him.
I got a real negative thought that I don't know if I want to share, but I guess I will since I said it. I don't want back-to-back international MVPs with Rhys Hines and Michael Tolio. Let's not do that, please. We're not looking to win minor league championships. We want to win championships at the major league level. And if Michael Tolio can be the guy that helps us do that, by all means, call him up yesterday. But unfortunately, there's no spot in Cincinnati at the moment. Hopefully there will be at one point. There were some other guys I wanted to shout out. Julian Aguilar had a start that was pretty decent. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks on Thursday. He might be major league ready soon. I don't think he's 40 man. He's on the 40 man. So he could be possibly in Cincinnati July, and we really need that pitching reinforcement. Maybe sooner. We definitely could use an arm like his. Just recently turned 25, has looked pretty good in this, spring training. Had a little bit of setback with the injury, which is why he was doing some rehab starts in Dayton, and I think Chattanooga maybe. And then this last was his first start in Louisville, which is pretty good. So I like to see him in Cincinnati sooner than later.
Yeah, Trevor Kuntz bounced back after his outing that we talked about on our episode with him. He had a 5-walk outing versus Memphis, and he comes back and pitches really well against Iowa. Good to see from him. And then I got to bring it up. Our guy Austin Hendrick had a 6-hit week, so good to see him kind of getting back up there and stealing some bases too. It's been really good to see him out there moving. So
yeah,
I still think there's a path, man. There's a path, and I did my duty. I made sure I got it. I got myself an Austin Hendrick card. So we are officially Fanboy Unleashed.
He absolutely crushed one off the field player in that 20-run game. That was just like, it went straight up and like straight down. It was a home run, and he wasn't the only one. I think Hector might have had like a home run or triple or whatever off of it, up the field player. Yeah, the Bats teed off on the Cubs minor league team, which was great to see. There was one other guy I did want to. I talk about Hunter Parks in the Major League show. In 20 appearances, just 1 earned run. If we're gonna fire sale, if we're gonna get guys up here, I want to see Hunter Parks in Cincinnati this year, just because he's earned it. He's been fantastic at AA at the start of the year and got promoted to AAA and just continued to his stats here, Ricky, if you could believe, on the season, 0.36 ERA. Like that just, I don't think that remedies all the Cincinnati Reds bullpen issues, but it would make me feel better if someone in Cincinnati had that kind of ERA. Something close to that.
I'd like to see somebody in Cincinnati have an ERA under 3.
Yeah. Well.
A lot of our relievers have ERAs over 5 and 6 and 10. So if you can get an ERA under 3, I'd be pretty happy about that.
What was the ERA that Junior Marte had when he got DFA'd? 108?
108, and Lyon Richardson had a 27.
Oh, that's it. We laughed because we were about to cry. But anyway, anything else about your Louisville Bats before we wrap it up with Prospect of the Week?
I guess the last guy, two guys real quickly. We don't got to really touch on them, but Michael Chavis has been pretty solid down there in Louisville, and Dominic Patelli has kind of stuck around with Louisville, playing shortstop, hitting 281, 791 OPS. So, former Hurricane there. So let's go.
That's it. There you go. There's the connection.
Had to sneak that in there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the Bats hopefully will have another good week like all the other parts of our organization. But we're going to move on to the guy that has had the best week this past week. A guy that we touched on just with our Louisville recap. Man, I don't know. A cycle followed up with 2 homers. Like, I don't know how you get any better than that. But Hector Rodriguez, H-Rod, had a fantastic week for your Louisville Bats. And, like, his stats, I mean, yeah, crazy stuff. 370 average, 414 on base, 963 slug. That's not on base plus slug. That's just slug. 4 homers, 14 RBIs, which is ridiculous. Triple, 2 doubles. Ironically, no stolen bases. You asked when we were doing the pre-show, getting ready. he's usually a guy that gets a couple stolen bases each week. But I guess I think I made the joke. He hit the ball so hard he had no chance to steal bases. He's out there. So, but yeah, what are your thoughts on Mr. Hector Rodriguez this week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking. I mean, I think we kind of agree on the September timeline for him. But I think if there's any kind of a fire sale or what have you, I think he is very clearly ready to be brought up and play every day just to see what he's got. I mean, we're kind of seeing it with Edwin Arroyo. He's not lighting the world on fire right now in Cincinnati, but he's coming through in some moments. He had that big hit on Saturday where he brought in Matt McClain, so it was really nice to see that. But I think Hector can do the same thing. I don't think he's going to come up and hit 300. I don't think he's going to come up and hit 30 home runs for the Reds. But I think, if he comes up, let's just say July 1st, just throwing a number out there, it's probably not going to happen. But if he did, in 2.5 months, I think he hits 12 home runs. I think he could do that. But yeah, I mean, he's a really good talent. I talked about it a little bit earlier. He's really worked on his swing. He's really worked on his chase. He's really worked on all that stuff. And he's done a really good job of limiting his strikeouts. He's always been a very high swing percentage guy. And to see those numbers drop and the performance improve has been a pleasure. So it's been really good to see him. Him and Sal Stewart got brought up at the same time last year to AAA. Sal kind of set himself apart, and we're seeing Hector do that this year with AAA. And we're just really excited to see him up there. He's the Reds' 5th overall prospect, according to MLB Pipeline. I think we had him top 5 too, I believe. And yeah, he's just been incredible.
Yeah, the only downside is I don't see him as a major league center fielder anymore. I think I had that kind of read on him, thinking that he could be a future TJ Friedel replacement, but he may have to play a lot of the corners, left field particularly. So if he can maybe work on that game, part of his game a little bit more, I think he's an average, maybe slightly above average outfielder. That may be a thing that maybe is holding back him getting to the big, to the show possibly. But his hitting is obviously there, and hopefully, maybe that can possibly help him come along quicker than what the timeline was previously. So, heck of a week from this guy, Hector. Man, I don't know if he has another week like this. It's kind of hard to not hear the rumblings and the rumors of like bring this guy up, because that's how it was with Marte, right? Like, and Arroyo, they just kept doing it. So I guess my advice is to Hector Rodriguez, keep doing what you're doing, because eventually that'll get you up to Cincinnati like Arroyo and Marte.
Yeah, and like we said, he's just a step away. There's nothing crazy they have to do. There's no 40-man shenanigans. It's just send up, call down. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and if he's been performing like this, it's well deserved for sure. He's been great so far this young season. I don't know, man. I guess rooting for prospects to get up might be in the hindrance of the major league club, because that means something's gone wrong possibly, or maybe some guys are injured and what have you. I'm not rooting for that. I'm just rooting for our guys to keep performing and earn the spots that they are to earn, because heck, it's a tough game, man. Baseball is tough. It's not a game that once you figure it out completely. We see that with Marte, right? We thought he figured it out last season, and then he had to take a step back, retool, figure it out, and now he's back again on the major league club, hopefully in a good spot and confident spot that will continue to produce. So we'll see.
Yeah. Also, don't forget, we got our ticket giveaway going on 3 p.m. Eastern, just a few hours after this episode airs. So make sure you get in on that. All you got to do is, submit a screenshot of a screenshot of you being subscribed to our YouTube page. You don't have to be a new subscriber. You can be the first subscriber we ever had, which is probably me or you. But
or a family.
Yeah. So as long as you're subscribed, you could be number 214 or you could be number 3. Doesn't matter. Just have a screenshot of it, post it in our posted or pinned comment on Facebook and Twitter. Also, don't forget Frost Buddy. Get yours. Can't speak highly enough about Frost Buddy. They are one of the coolest products ever, and I'm so glad that they jumped aboard because I'm a customer first, and I swear I use mine every single day. I use multiple every single day. I'm not ashamed to say that. I use all 3 of them every day. So, yeah, and they have other products too, not just your koozies. I saw an advertisement about a backpack cooler, so keep your eye on that too.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out Frost Buddy. Diversifying the products. So, but yeah, heck of a week from our prospects. Maybe that means, Ricky, down the line, the Red Legs will be good because of how well our prospects are doing, at least at the moment. And
the future is bright.
Always. Yeah. Just that future needs to become the present, I guess. that thing, that switch over. But hey, anything else on our Cincinnati Reds minor league system?
Nope.
All right. Well, until next time, go Reds.
Go Reds.